What's going on, Gemini? This is your girl, Venus Archangel, here with another love reading for you guys. Just want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and let's go ahead and get started with your reading. So, the underlying energy that we're working with is the High Priestess. So the High Priestess talks about intuition, following your instincts, following your gut instincts, okay? I feel like ultimately, though, this is really talking about having the clear sight, not necessarily clear sight, because obviously you can't really see when the High Priestess comes up. It's more of, the hidden knowledge, the things that that you haven't, you don't notice. But there's also talking about knowledge in general, because if you see, the two pillars do represent, like a higher education, a higher learning. So this is talking about what you know, especially, and what you can rely on, which is your knowledge in situations. And the reason why this comes up is because you also have the Eight of Swords underneath this. So this is really talking about maybe coming from a place of when you kind of feel trapped, you don't really have a lot of clarity, you don't really, your situation is clearly blocking, it's being blocked by your thoughts. So there's a lot of stuff going on mentally that's in your, up here. And so you have to really rely on faith, and that you'll be able to kind of know what's right and know what's wrong, even if you don't see that there's a potential way out. So don't let these fears, don't let these situations, don't let these thoughts keep you from pushing through and prevailing, okay now? Just follow your intuition and kind of, keep moving along with that as far as your love life goes. Allow yourself to, to kind of go with the flow with this right now. Don't push too hard. Whatever needs to be, but you need to be in the moment at all times, okay? So being in the moment will help you, help you make more decisions, help you make decisions, and help you through your situation. But you have to trust your intuition. So all of this stuff is about trusting your intuition. So the current state of being is the Two of Pentacles. So yeah, there's some juggling. There's keeping the balance is hard, okay? And especially when you're just kind of doing the thing that you need to do and not really looking at how your emotions, how you feel. Now, like, considering the High Priestess is ruled by her emotions anyway, or she doesn't rule by her emotions, she controls her emotions, but she's also very intuitive, and that's why she knows what's up. Her emotions are available and open at all times. So with you suppressing this, this current situation, it does indicate that you're really focused on the practical, either working, making practical decisions, or juggling different tasks. Your mind is on different stuff, and it's not really focusing on what your intuition is telling you, what your heart is telling you. So it's kind of, your heart is not really being heard at this time. Now, where your goal is the Eight of Pentacles. So you really want to work hard and really focus and put all your efforts and concentration into one thing, or really to just start really buckling down and focusing on a certain situation that's not really working very well, and going ahead and putting 100% in. Just putting 100% of your focus in, putting always 100% of your time, effort. You really want to work on something, okay? Now, I'm not sure what it is that you really want to work on, but it's, perhaps it is to work on your, your connection with spirit. Maybe it is to work on some sort of trust issue that you have with yourself or with your partner. But ultimately, when we have trust issues, it does stem from ourselves. Can we not trust ourselves before we trust someone else? Okay. Or how can we trust ourselves before we trust someone else? That kind of sort of situation. So it could be that, but there's something that you really want to put your heart and soul into. And I think this relationship is a lot of work, maybe, but you really want to, you really want to make it work. You really want to make it work in a way that's best for both you and your significant other, not just best for one of you, okay? But you also, you really want to see also, I think it's not really seeing the results when this card comes up. It's really just focusing on what it is that's the problem, and really critiquing your skills and everything like that. So you really want to dedicate your time and effort to something that you feel is worthy of the cause, okay? And the thing that's keeping you from doing that is the Fool. I don't feel like you have a lot of freedom, ultimately. I feel like, honestly, when I see that Fool there, it's not trusting your intuition. You don't trust where the situation is going. It's almost as, it's because honestly you had some conflicts in the past. You don't feel very confident in regards to, you know, where your life's headed or where this relationship is headed because of some situations or some things that were said, some back and forth situations. And, you know, when we have arguments, when we say some things to, you know, to our partners, it may not be the nicest things ever. Or when someone says something wrong to us, it makes us feel a little funky. But the thing here is that this does recognize a situation and recognize a problem, even though it's kind of coming at it at different angles. It is talking about getting to the source, getting to the core issue, getting to the core meaning. Just because there's a lot of stuff going on doesn't mean that you should deter from what it is that you're trying to do and finding yourself victorious with putting all the effort that you could into making it a success. So when I see this card, when I see the Fool, I'm like, okay? Because usually the Fool's a good card, but it's blocking you. So I feel like ultimately you don't see the potential. You're not necessarily living the moment either. You're kind of planning things out. You're kind of looking at the value of everything. You're kind of assessing the situation. So I mean, it's fun to assess, but where does your emotions lie in all this? Where do you feel that your emotions actually, you know, your emotions have a play in the situation that you're in? Now, it could be that you're arguing the practical stuff all the time and your emotions are kind of just staying in the waves and you're not really addressing that either. So it's just kind of like rolling, those waves are rolling and you're like, you know, they're getting more restless and restless every time, you know, the tides come in, you know what I'm saying? So maybe it's time to really figure out what it is that you want to focus on rather than what you should be focusing on, because that's what the Two of Pentacles to me always kind of comes up as. Now, as your advice, you have the Devil. So it's time to find the power and the strength in yourself despite being in a relationship. Is your relationship more clingy than it should be? Are you reliant on your partner, or does your partner rely on you? This is also about addictions and old patterns. You might want to really assess some old situations or some old patterns in your life or the people that you're dealing with and figure out whether or not it's healthy for you to be involved with them or healthy to be in a relationship with someone that, you know, maybe too toxic for you. Like, I mean, I don't know if this person is toxic for you, because, you know, you have to make that assessment on your own. That's not something I can tell you. No one can tell you who and who not to be with. Not even your parents, okay? No. But it's all up to you. Who is this person for you? And then at the same time, who are you to yourself? Are you stable enough? Are you good? I mean, like, do you care enough? And also, most importantly, do you allow your emotions to run freely into, you know, do you restrict them with certain things because you're afraid of certain outcomes? Okay. The High Priestess is also the underlying energy. So that could also speak of secrets, things not being said, things not really coming out. So there could be sometimes, this could be like a certain time to address certain situations, and the Devil is really talking about really looking at those problems, looking at what's keeping you stuck, because the situation is actually not sticky, if that makes sense. Nothing is sticking to you. You can actually get up and leave at any time. You can do whatever you want. But why do you feel like you can't do anything? Why do you feel like you're stuck? Again, that's why the Eight of Swords is underneath here as well. Okay, so it's not just only that there's secrets, and there's also hidden knowledge and stuff like that, and relying on your intuition and focusing on your emotions so that way you can get some intuitive information. But it's also about, why do you feel like you can't get out of a situation? It's time to find your integrity. Build integrity. Build some boundaries for yourself, Gemini, because honestly, you have a situation where it looks like it's going to get a little crazy, and before it can actually calm down and be all right and just be all, you know, chill, you got to face the music. So how you feel though is the Ace of Wands. It's exciting. I don't know if it's a good exciting or bad exciting, but ultimately usually the Ace of Wands rather, is a really good card. It talks about a new adventure. So you're ready to kind of take on this new adventure and take on this new passions. Now, if this is a relationship, again, this is talking about old patterns and stuff like that, facing old patterns with the Devil card as your advice. I really feel like I feel like, honestly, where you want to go is working on something that means something to you. Not something that's just something that you picked out of nowhere just because you think it's supposed to. I feel like you're kind of trapped in a situation where you feel like things just have to be a certain way when there's actually other ways you can do something. Don't feel like you're kind of constricted to just one way of doing something. And don't feel like you have to deal with someone that doesn't know how to do anything other than one way. Okay, you can break the cycle, you can break the chain. And you can overcome it, but you have to find your own power. You have to find your own strength in your relationship, in yourself, to be able to make that call. All right. Now, for the Ace of Wands, again, in your feelings, it's exciting. You really want to start something new. Really bring out that passion. You're ready to kind of just go forward with this. Okay. The arguing the Five of Wands situation, that being in the past, I feel like it's currently happening still, because honestly, it's what's getting everything going, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, and that, because of that argument, because of those, that bickering, that conflict, you have realized that you don't really have a lot of confidence in where the situation may end, where you may end up. You don't have a lot of faith in yourself and in the relationship to kind of steer it in the direction where it would best blossom. It's starting something new. Maybe there's even inner conflicts within yourself, for those of you that are single, that in regards to, like, if you are wanting to be tied down, if you wanting to be in a relationship, if you want to be tied to someone else, because there are some toxic thoughts about this. This could be some idea about being in a relationship that just totally doesn't appeal to you right now, because you don't want to feel like you are restrictive of your freedom. In actuality, you're restricting your freedom and allowing things to just happen to you because you are paying attention to situations that don't really matter, practical stuff. Okay, so that's something there that I've noticed. But your hopes and fears is the Two of Wands. So you want to pick the place, you want to pick the direction that really inspires you, that really gets that gusto going and gets to your fire. And honestly, Gemini, wherever you decide to go, it's never the wrong decision. You can always course correct, you can always change your mind, and that's one of the things I feel like you think that if you pick a certain path, you have to stick with it, and that's not necessarily the case. I think you want to pick something and you want to stick with it, but you want to pick something that truly matters to you, and that's something that you should do. And I think the fear is that you're having to flip-flop all the time. Maybe you're always having to change your mind, you're always doing this, you're always changing. It's because you're not really looking at what you feel and what you want in the first place. If you look at what you want, you won't worry about having to change your mind, because it feels good. Everything feels good. So don't pick something because you think it's just the right thing to do. Pick something because you want it. Pick that very thing because it makes you feel good about what you're doing, and etc. Because then you won't have this conflict anymore. Then the conflict will be resolved. You'll know that, okay, this is the person I want to be with because of X, Y, and Z, because they make me feel this way, because they make me feel X, Y, and Z, not because, they are very good at work, they're very good at communicating. I mean, those things are great, but if, anybody can have those features, everybody can have those qualities. But what makes this person very, stand out? For some of you guys, this could be that, I don't know. Never mind, I take it back. But yeah, that's what I'm getting with the Two of Wands. Like, you guys are not really sure if you guys want to make that decision, because you don't want to make it a lighthearted decision. You don't want to be like, okay, I'll do this, but then we'll see how that goes, and if it doesn't work out. No. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Allow yourself to be led by your intuition and led by your emotions. What feels good. Don't think about practical stuff right now, because honestly, the practical stuff is what's not important. It's the other stuff that's important. You're juggling other stuff, and you're not really looking at your emotions. If you look at your emotions, things will be all right. Everything will be square, and then you won't actually have to be worried. You don't have to worry about having to rehash some old stuff in regards to figuring out what it is that you want to do. Now, in your outcome, you have the Ten of Wands, and this is talking about a burden. The process of putting down a burden, but you're also talking about completing a cycle. It's burdensome, no doubt, because everything that you're doing in regards to this is to make a better you at the end of the day. Eight of Pentacles, excuse me. I'm saying every other card under the sun except the one that I wanted to see, or show you rather. With the Eight of Pentacles, this is really talking about focusing and really putting your heart and soul into something. Really being, staying focused on what it is that you want and staying focused on the goal. But staying focused on the project and really working on individual stuff. Really focusing and putting your concentration on something in your love life. In your outcome, you have the Ten of Wands. So it's talking about putting down a burden. Putting down the burden, allowing yourself to take that rest and, to just carry your wands home and relax before beginning the next stage, beginning the next phase in your life. So whatever this burden is, I feel like you are going to put it down. You're going to really, give yourself a break a little bit, because this whole situation in regards to what you want to do and what's going on in regards to juggling. Now, I don't think this is a third-party situation. For those of you that are in third-party situations, I kind of do see one. The devil is about overcoming that, though. Overcoming that third-party situation, whether it is about your career or something else, and it's infecting your relationship. If there's addictions that are affecting your relationship right now, okay, they need to be addressed right now for you, for your relationship. But then you got to make sure that this is something that you want. If the relationship is more demanding than your work, then there needs to be a balance here. There is a constant balance of practical stuff and what you should do, but what does your heart want to do? And if your heart isn't into whatever you're balancing, it needs to be addressed right now, because you have this burning excitement and you don't really trust yourself, which is very weird, right? You don't trust yourself to start a new beginning, to start over, and to really, to go about the path, to really allow yourself to kind of go off and, explore. That's what the Fool does. He just lives in the moment. You're not living in the moment. And instead, you're just kind of focusing and distracting yourself with other things. So right now, I know it's Pisces season, it's crazy, and you just want to escape. I get that. But right now, it's not, especially after the full moon in Virgo, especially way after the full moon in Virgo, we're coming up to the new moon in Pisces. This is about your dreams, what makes you happy. Look at what makes you happy, and then allow yourself to, to find that in yourself, with, allow your intuitions to guide you there, and put down these burdens that are keeping you from really truly being happy. Now, for your wisdom of the Oracle, you have chaos and conflict. Okay, so obviously what I'm about to say is, it's pretty much what I was saying earlier. Yeah, when it comes to conflicts, before we get peace, we always have to have war. We always have to figure out why the situation is unstable in the first place, to make the peace stay longer, to make the peace more grounding, okay? Or make the peace that we're looking for, make more sense, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't have peace when there's so many things going on. You have to confront the problem. You have to really run towards that problem. You have to literally just jump down the abyss when it comes to that mess. And when you tackle those issues, then you'll be able to make plans and decisions about how to address those that best fit the person that you're with, best fit you rather. Okay, so yeah, that's 33 as well. That's double number. So despite what you're having to go through in regards to conflicts with your partner or with yourself, those conflicts are necessary, because they're going to get you to a place where you feel good, where you feel awesome. You have to trust yourself, no doubt, though, that you can make it happen for yourself. So that's one of the big things, is that you have to have, you have to believe that you can get there. And maybe that conflict is your confidence, is, your self-esteem, is your, what you're able to do and what you're not able to do. And to redefine that, because you can make anything that you want happen, even if it is a new relationship or fixing something in an existing relationship. But you have to go down the rabbit hole. You have to have those conversations, even though they're not easy to deal with. You have to confront that. Codependency and all. You have to confront them all. This is a soulmate relationship as well, and they're helping you to see what doesn't work for you, or what addictions or behaviors that you may not like or have, and you want to change. Now for the whispers of love, you guys have I love you. And these are very important words, okay? So that's the important thing. No matter what you guys go through, no matter how many arguments that you guys have in the next half month or whatever, just know that you're doing this out of love. That's what I'm saying. When I said they're all going after one goal, even though they're all fighting and they're all going about certain things in a different way, and it's conflicting, it's conflicting with other people's ideas and whatever. It's all about getting to the main goal, to the main objective, and it is love, right? It is their passion to be successful, to be recognized, but to also let the world know, but let themselves know that they can do what they want to do, and they do it because they're in love, because they are love, and because of love, I always didn't say of love twice, but you get what I'm trying to say. So I love you. This whole situation, especially with love, this is considering your love life, whatever arguments that you guys are having now, it's because of the love that you have with your person. It's because of the love that you have with yourself. And you owe it to yourself to find what makes you happy in the relationship, to make it best fit you and to make you feel good. Alright, Gemini, hopefully that made sense, and I know, rambling on for quite a bit, but I love you guys. I also have a Patreon page, guys, if you're interested in donating. You donate $4, you guys get early access to my videos. I'm planning, post